We are back live at Radio Row, and joining us today is a Super Bowl winning head coach, one of the best to ever do it. The great Brian Billick is with us now. Coach,
Thank
always
you.
appreciate your time. Welcome back to the show.
Great being here. Always exciting to be at Radio Row during the Super Bowl week.
Now, you've obviously experienced firsthand what the Super Bowl is like. I mean, take us through what each of these coaches are thinking a couple days out from this game on Sunday.
Well, you're kind of in the back stretch, so to speak. You spent the whole off the bye week getting the game plan ready, getting the players. We approached it like we had to play the game the Sunday before. Get everything out of the way that way. That way, when you get down here, the initial days of the distractions and the media and all going around. Today is when it needs to begin to feel like it's normal. You get back on the practice field. You want it to feel like another Wednesday, installation, running the practice itself, and work towards what will be the longest Sunday in your life, because it just seems like you wait around all day. And you got to prepare the players for it, that it's going to be a little bit different. You go out and warm up. You come back in the locker room for 30 minutes. What's that like? We actually re-stretched and started the whole process over. So you just want to try to make it feel as familiar as it can, so that at kickoff, and it's amazing how quickly all the lights go off and the cameras, how quickly it just becomes the game, that muscle memory kicks in, and it's just another game. Very important game, huge outcome, but at the end of the day, it's just the game.
Were you nervous going in? What were the emotions like?
I was probably, as it turned out well, but mistakenly, I was extremely confident going in. This team had come through so much, that 2000 Raven team, and I knew that what the Giants didn't know, they weren't going to be able to run the ball. And I'd seen it time and again all year long, that they get into the game and they find they just couldn't run the ball. It shocks their system. And I've seen how game plans fall apart. And so I was extremely confident all week. I wasn't particularly nervous. I was anxious, ready for it to happen. But very, just because of the nature of who I am, I really wasn't that worried about it.
Brian Billick, of course, is our guest. We're based in New York, so we're talking always about the Jets. We're talking about the Giants as well. From your perspective, I know you know John Harbaugh very well. What were your thoughts on the Giants bringing him in as a new head coach?
Great hire. John's an outstanding coach. He will bring a mentality, a discipline, a culture to the Giants that seems to have weaned over the last few years. John will reestablish that very quickly. And I thought it was a great hire by the Giants.
From a Jet standpoint now, Aaron Glenn, it was a very disappointing year one, 3-14. Both coordinators, coach, were let go. Steve Wilkes, before the year even ended, Tanner Engstrand, an up-and-coming guy. It turns out they wanted to demote him and bring someone else in. It doesn't end up working out. They announced they hired Frank Reich as the OC this morning. Can you take us inside what year one as a head coach was like for you, the challenges with something like that, and kind of what you saw from the Jets in year one with Aaron Glenn?
Well, it's just like we talked about that Coach Harbaugh will do coming into the Giants. It's from day one, it is trying to establish that culture, that mindset of this is how we're going to do business. And it's a fight every day. And the hard part is you got to have enough success early to validate it for the players to buy in, to go, okay, yeah, we see what you want. We believe this is the way to go. And that's the struggle you have, particularly when you go on a 3-13 year, or 3-14.
And they started 0-7, so all the messaging about, hey, we're going to do it this way. I mean, how difficult is that, right?
The hard part is, rather than building on it, you're just fighting it every single day. And that's the challenge that they're going to have going forward now, is in the second year, now you've had that entire offseason, where before it was just getting used to the environment and the people and bringing it in. Now you hope some of the repetition, keeping the way that you do business consistent, and that you can start off strong in training camp, reestablish again, this is what we have to do to be successful. But then obviously once you get on the field, it's got to show up, because those players right now will, there'll be a mindful eye of, okay, yeah, we want to be good and we think this is the right way, but it's got to be reinforced with some success.
It feels like they need to get off to a good start after you have a horrific year one like what they had.
Yeah, you do. Just for the players to get that total buy-in, that absolute buy-in. Otherwise, it's just an uphill battle.
Now, for you, from a head coach's perspective, it feels like some guys maybe are just made out to be coordinators. How can you tell if someone is, better suited to be a offensive or a defensive special teams coordinator versus, hey, it's a totally different job when you're actually the head guy as the head coach?
Well, you don't know until you're in that position. I mean, you work your entire life aspiring to be a head coach, and you do those things to prepare yourself, usually with a focus on one side of the ball or the other. And then you get that job, and you find out that I remember very specifically, when I got the job in Baltimore, and you sit down in that office for the first time, and you go, holy mackerel, what do I do now? And you just take the next step. You do what you know you have to do in terms of bringing the staff together and trying to implement that mindset. But it's an uphill every day. It's something you got to do, and you learn constantly on the go of what it is, because I don't know that anybody fully appreciates it until they sit in that seat, how broad the job is. Every aspect of it you have to give attention to 24/7. And if not, you better have somebody on your right hand that's taking care of that aspect of it if you're preoccupied with something else.
How difficult is it to hire a good staff when you first become a head coach?
It is. You prepare and have guys in mind, but not all of them are available. So you have to adjust and bring certain guys in. It's important that you get that right. It's tough when you have to, in that first year, change the coordinators, because at some point then the players go, okay, we made those changes. We just come through that. We fired the complete other staff. Now you're here. Now we fired these guys. Okay, who's next? That's the tough mentality you got to fight through.
Brian Billick, of course, is with us here, Super Bowl champion as the head coach of the Ravens. I'm seeing it in my live chat. A bunch of people want to know, after 2007, Coach, you were still a young guy. How come you never got back into coaching?
It's just one of those things that first the right opportunity has to come along. And I had a good first marriage, so to speak, with the Ravens and Ozzie Newsome and the way we did things. And I vowed that I wasn't going to just go back. It had to be a good fit, because it really is a marriage. It has to be, it has to be a solid group with the same vision. Doesn't mean you agree on everything, but it has to be a solid relationship that you're working towards the same thing. And that opportunity never really presented itself. And then after a while, you're out long enough that they quit asking.
It's out of sight, out of mind almost.
Yeah.
And you became a big star on television for all those years.
I don't know about that. It was fun. I enjoyed doing that, staying close to both with Fox and the NFL Network, and being around the young people, being close to the game. And it's amazing, particularly the experience of doing games for Fox. You think about that. Every Friday, I'm sitting in a different facility, former competitors, and visiting with them, watching how they do. I mean, it was, if I had gone back to coaching, I would have been a better head coach for having had that experience of basically sitting in every facility in the league, watching how other people did it. It was enjoyable, but now it's I'm enjoying it. Chase my grandsons around, playing a lot of golf, and watch a little football.
So the last time the Jets had success, their head coach was a guy you know very well, in Rex Ryan. What was Rex like being a part of some of your coaching staffs when you guys, of course, were in Baltimore together?
Rex was a great coach. I tell you, the minute I knew I was going to hire Rex Ryan, I went up to Canada. They had a coaching seminar, and I signed on to go on. I was going to, and they had they expected like 1,200 guys. Well, I come down early. The speaker in front of me is Rex Ryan. I wanted to hear Rex. I knew his dad, Buddy, and there's like 4 people there. I mean, this clinic was useless. Rex was up there with these 4 and 5 guys coaching his butt off. Like there were 1,200 people there. And he was into it. I thought, that's a football coach. That's the guy, if I ever have an opportunity, this is the guy I want to work with. So that was my first real exposure to Rex. And then when I got the Ravens job, brought him in as our defensive line coach.
That's outstanding. Now, in front of us, we got the Nightcap guys that are going to be setting up a bit later doing their show. Give us a Shannon Sharp story that you could share with the audience.
Oh, my God. Well, I worked with Sterling all those years.
Yep.
Which was great fun when we did the show Playbook for NFL Network. Shannon was a joy to have. Between Shannon and I now, you could literally suck the air out of the room between the two of us. So we could both talk now. So, but Shannon was such a great component of that championship team, was really that touchstone for everybody, because no one else had won the Super Bowl, either in the room, coaching staff or the building, the players. And so Shannon was that touchstone of, yeah, we're doing the right thing. We can do this, to believe in ourselves. And obviously a great personality. It was, he was the point in his career where He didn't practice on Friday, which was cool. It's just, I'll give you Wednesday and Thursday. I'll be ready. I got to lay low Friday and Saturday. And I said, that's cool with me, man.
Love that. Before we let you run, two questions for you at the end. You're here with X-Tech. I've seen you with X-Tech for years. What makes X-Tech so unique with their shoulder pads?
Well, we've been at it for 14 years. I'm so proud of where we've come. This is the shoulder pads of the future. I mean, everything about AI and the technology now, everything is driven. Well, that's what these pads are. The X-Tech bot is AI driven. In the old days, big pads on big guys and little pads on little guys. Now, the pads are basically form-fitted for your height, your weight, your playing position, your injury history, the level you're playing at, the protection that you need. It's the number one pad in pro and major college football. I'm thrilled that we're getting into the youth pad. I have 2 grandsons, 14 and 10. They actually wore the prototypes. This is the equipment our young people need to be in. Take advantage of the technical advancements we've made, because this is a great sport, but it's a very physical, it's a very dangerous sport. They need to be in the best equipment. X-Tech Pads is that equipment.
xtechpads.com. Final question, Coach. Who do you like on Sunday?
Well, I got to keep track here. I was at Radio Row. I pick one team for 50% of the goes and the other team. So that means Monday morning,
you can't lose.
Half the country thinks I know what I'm talking about. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be a tight game. I think Seattle in its entirety is going to be just a little too strong in a very low-scoring game. I think Seattle.
Super Bowl winning head coach Brian Billick has been our guest. Brian, always great to catch up. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.